So welcome everybody to the last panel of the 2024 MCParks Expo. We hope you guys have enjoyed all the panels thus far and are excited for this last one final hurrah together.
Hurrah!
Yay!
Yeah, exactly. So I think most of everybody here has been at least to some of the panels, so they have a pretty good idea of what techs do. But I'd love to go down the line and talk about some of the projects everybody has worked on. So Zach, we could start with you since you're first in the Discord channel, and then work our way down.
That works. So I initially started with tech doing the flat rides, so spinners like Dumbo and Silly Symphony swings and things like that pretty much became a big passion at one point for me. But I also really work into creating the fireworks and effects on the castle for our nighttime spectaculars like Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks.
Nice. Oh, and what about you? What do you work on?
So when I first got on here, I started with doing stuff for we recently redid Hallowishes, and so I got to do some blockamations for that, and I was involved in Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks. I think that's what it's called. I was involved in that too, and that was also fun. But more recently, Journey of Water's been kind of my big thing, and I'm definitely making a lot of progress on that, and it's been fun.
Broken, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day with you. What are you working on?
Well, one of the things I worked on, it's not finished yet. I'm not sure if it will be, but the Velocicoaster, the Raptors, we made it so so the image maps can like rise up and down. So whenever we feel like adding the effect, we can have the ride vehicles zoom on by, and then all of the Raptors can appear to be following it.
Thought for sure you're gonna say Rise as the one that it's not done yet. You don't know if it ever will be.
I mean, I haven't really typed anything on that, right? Except for maybe like the initial screen show files, but that's about it.
That's a tech thing.
Frankie, what about you?
Well, I'm quite a new tech, really, but I mainly work on drones in Blender and also in transporting them into the world of Minecraft as well.
Nice. Nessa, how about you? What tech things have you done?
Do a lot of the timing and coding for all of the fireworks shows around the parks, and then recently I've been trying to slowly get into doing the drones to work on the Epcot night spectaculars. Well, the Epcot night projections.
Very nice. King, what have you worked on?
It's a little hard to think of everything, but I know that I did the Happy Ride with Baymax. I did Enchanted Wish. Those are the only two ones that come to mind immediately, but I've done a lot of things, like a lot of testing stuff and a lot of like a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of helping wherever.
Very nice. Scoop, how about you? What have you worked on?
Yeah, I'm a fairly new tech as well. I just got promoted to full tech time technician just today. And I've been working on ET Adventure, just lots of things throughout that ride.
Very nice.
Hey, Scoop, behind you.
Oh yeah, you get your hard hat now that you're a full tech.
Who picked it up? Hold on.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, Zach gets to do it anyway.
Hooray.
I love the fire effect.
Don't forget your safety vest. Gotta be safe on the job.
Hang on. Enchanted safety vest.
We have style. We gotta follow it.
Yes.
Josh, what have you worked on?
Basically every single firework you see in every single show, except for Light the Night, was done by me. So that is, I'm just a firework guy at this point.
Nice. I haven't done anything. I think I did the original Peter Pan's flight back in 2013, and that was the extent of it. Ryan, what about you? What tech things have you
All kinds of stuff.
Brian's biggest accomplishment is the Totally Tomorrowland Christmas party.
In 2013, yeah, that was a big
Yeah,
one.
that was landmark achievement.
I remember that same month, Darren showing me how train carts worked to make speed signs for Space Mountain.
I like the image of Darren teaching Ryan tech stuff instead of the other
It
way
was
around.
2013, and never used train carts before.
I'm out in the lab figuring out how MCParks is going to operate. That was the extent of my tech knowledge, was very minimal train cart stuff. I don't know. I feel like most of this group has talked in other panels, so I want to be like, what's your favorite thing that you've worked on? Or like, what do you want to work on next? But most of you have answered those questions. Does anybody have anything they immediately want to talk about that they've worked on, or things that they've learned on the server? This doesn't need to be like a down the line thing, but if anybody has any standout moments that they want to share.
This room is a big fan of buses, because boy, do I have the person for you.
Get excited for Mummy!
That too. Apparently, no one is excited for either of those.
Yeah.
What
a
about
lot
Living
of this
with the
room
Land?
is people working on Mummy. There's a decent amount of Universal stuff in here, actually. Universal sometimes falls to the wayside compared to some of the Disney parks, so it's refreshing that there's not only interest in Universal stuff right now, but if you've been in these panels all day and all day yesterday, there's been a lot of interest in Harry Potter stuff moving forward, so that's always exciting.
We should invite Cam up to the stage.
Yeah. Honorary
Those are-
former tech, can't play his games.
He's not an honorary former tech. He is a former tech.
Sorry, I was gonna say honorary tech and then former tech. When we were opening up Hyperspace Mountain, there was an issue with the timing for something, and as a guest, he's like sitting in the station, DMing me like troubleshooting solutions. I was like, "Oh, you should try this."
I
You
think
know,
that
go-
was the same when we did the Tower Terror over in
Yeah.
Tokyo too. We were all like, when do we say we don't know how to fix this? When do we go get Cam?
Yeah, you gotta transcribe his notes. Yeah, I meant to say honorary tech and then also said former tech. So, but he is an official former tech. Cam's enjoying his retirement though. He, for those of you guys who don't know, Cam did pretty much most of the tech work in Volcano Bay last year. And Volcano Bay, when we say that we opened 40 new rides, I think a solid like 30% of them are Volcano Bay slides. And so he really helped boost up that number a little bit.
I think within the same year, he also did the Casey Junior train and both storybooks in Paris and Disneyland.
Yeah. A bunch of stuff last year was done by Cam. Something I do want to talk about. So there's a decent chunk of our firework friends in here. I'd love to know what your next plans are, because we were talking about how you guys were doing a bunch of firework shows and we're sort of in like this little burnout period right now. We're all working on Castaway. What's the next thing you guys want to tackle?
Fireworks related or anything?
I don't know. It feels like you guys are always like working on stuff together.
Firework wise, I'm gonna be honest, and it's an unpopular opinion. I would love to get rid of Hollow Wishes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
about that.
yeah, about that. That's the thing. It's not due to how detailed Disney has gotten with the projection mapping. Mapping that in Minecraft is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, Not So Spooky is a lot more challenging than Minnie's Very Merry, whatever it is. Minnie's Wonderful Christmas on Fireworks is. Minnie's went simple with the projection mapping.
And even then, it still took us a while. to
Not
figure
So
out
Spooky. We talked about the list this morning of like never doing to whatever the last one was already done. Not So Spooky is so close to we don't have the ability to do this right now because the projections are so insane.
Yeah, I think it's like just a huge time sink. You know, we're talking about Happily Ever After, where most of the team just worked on that for 6, 7, 8 months. Not So Spooky is a very similar project where it would be a huge lift for the entire team, and it would be for a seasonal show that'll run maybe 2.5 months out of the year.
I know Josh and I have discussed it multiple times, but we keep pushing it back, is going through and updating HEA.
I mean, I'm not good at any of the stuff that needs to be updated. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that show is a beast. Even now, after all of our experience with it, is still a beast. Looking at that show and going, that's a lot that needs to get done with it.
Like, the spotlights could used to be updated, but like, I'm not the good one at spotlights anymore, right? You're looking at like a Mikey or a Vec or someone, right? Yeah.
I mean, we did update the Mufasa. That's thanks to King.
I mean, well, King made we could talk about that a little bit. A ChatGPT made a way to transcribe like black and white images into sparkle effects, which we used on the Mufasa on the castle and a couple of other things in minis.
Very nice. Somebody who I want to talk to for a second, Frankie, you haven't been able to speak about drones yet today, have you?
No, I haven't.
Is there anything more you want to share about that? I know we touched upon it lightly on Friday. What made you decide that was something you wanted to be the point person on? Is that something you have history with? Like, what was the inspiration for you to become the drone guy on MCParks?
Well, last year when Ryan sent the message to everyone talking about this thing that we could possibly do, I stepped up to it because I already had previous experience using Blender, which is the software we use to create the drone shows in. I'm no trained, drone technician person, and we're using Blender, which is a software that's very generic. You can use it for everything, VFX and 3D modeling and all of that. So the things that we make in it definitely aren't going to be as to the level of what Disney is going to come out with, because they're using very specialized technology. They've got trained people who know what they're doing. But I think we're getting there. I'm getting there to a good level with Blender and with Minecraft. We're constantly testing stuff out and seeing the boundaries that we can push it to. But yeah, it's a really good thing that I really want to train more people to do, because it's only me doing it currently, and I'd love for other members or even the guests watching this, if you already have previous knowledge with Blender, to jump on board and make more drone shows.
I mean, the tests that we've done on the Epcot ball with the full drones are insane. The Spaceship Earth, the way it looks with the drones to get the light mapping. I mean, you guys have seen in the Expo Hall the mini version of it. Picture that on the full Spaceship Earth.
Well, we showed it in the keynote.
We showed it in the keynote. It looks
insane.
Real. It looks like it's what it's supposed to look like, and it's insane what we can do with it. I mean, we are basically, with these shows, like with the fireworks shows, we are literally making, with the drones especially, remaking the exact same thing they're doing in real life with those drones.
Yeah, which is very difficult to do.
Oh, I imagine.
Very nice. So while I have you guys all here, before we open the floor to questions, I want to ask Ryan's favorite question. Or Ryan, if you want to ask it, you can.
You go for it.
What do you think the biggest skill you've gotten in real life out of your time on MCParks is? Like, what's left a huge impact on your either professional or personal life? Zach, if you want to go first.
So, I held this back yesterday at the GR panel. The biggest skill I think I've learned, honestly, is being able to become a trainer and take on a part of a leading role with this team.
Very nice. What about you, Owen?
Well, I think that I think being in a role has taught me a lot about commitment, and you start a project and you finish it, and if you're not happy with how something looks, then you refine it and try to get it looking as good as you want. And I think that's a good something good that you can implement into your own life.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Broken?
Mine would be being resourceful and I am in the past and also recently I've been using a GPT to make my own tools to do things in MindMater that weren't possible.
Very nice. Frankie, go ahead.
What was the question? Sorry.
What have you learned from MCParks that's been helpful in your personal or professional life?
You can tell which of us hasn't been at many panels.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've just got back from vacation.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I think it's taught me to be more sociable with people. Seeing as we're connecting to people all around the world, I've definitely improved a lot with my social life, and I think it's good to have that learn to have that balance between your social life and your online life as well.
Absolutely. What about you, NASA?
Having already answered this question, I think this is my third time answering it.
Yeah.
Probably, especially with the tech-wise, organization skills and having to go through and reorganize things that weren't organized. I'm sure Josh is probably going to be in agreement. The way that fireworks shows in our file systems used to be organized before we started taking over for it, it was chaos.
There's a reason. We didn't know at the time how multiple different files would run asynchronously. And if they would get off time from each other, which is why everything was in one big file.
Well, it wasn't even that we didn't know, it was that it definitely wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not like I did that on purpose.
They are now. I'm able to completely organize and know where everything is, and being more orderly with everything. And it works hand in hand in real life as well.
Very nice. King, what about you?
I will say I feel like with MCParks, it's kind of offered something that it's a little bit harder to do in, like, at least for me, like thinking of other areas where it could manifest itself. But I feel like having something that you can continuously learn at and feel like it's attainable to reach maybe not like an expert per se, but like you can feel confident knowing this. It's not just like, no matter how hard, like no matter how much I put time and effort into this, that I will still like be barely scratching the surface. That I feel like it's given me a lot more confidence knowing that like I can put in the time, I can put in all this stuff, and I feel like I get something out of it. Like I can actually like understand all the inner workings of this, and then not only that, but also being in a trainer position and actually teaching those skills to others and trying to make sure it doesn't just like trying to make sure I'm not the only one doing that, that's passing those skills on to others and writing stuff down and like changing the process to make it easier for people. Like any areas of struggle that you had, like writing to this, like, oh, I didn't know where to find the information for this, or it's just something I just kind of picked up, making sure, like writing it down and making sure others know about it to just improve the team. I think that it's kind of not a single concise answer, but that's kind of what I would answer.
Nice. I like that one.
Do you have pings on for every single message? Because I heard a ping and got a message in like a different chat.
He likes being in the know.
Apparently, that's crazy to me.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
I mean, not ping, but like I get the little notification sound. Yeah.
That's what a ping is to me.
Oh, yeah. For everything.
That's wow. Okay.
Sky, go ahead. Try and pull us back on task here.
No worries. I think project management is a really good thing that I learned here. Just like, setting reasonable goals and being able to execute on them.
Absolutely. What about you, Josh?
I've learned the importance of sleep when you're planning on participating in 10 panels over 2 days.
Yeah.
+1.
Yeah, and add on to
11
that.
if you count the keynote post-show thing on Friday.
Add on to that, scrambling to finish a bunch of huge new features a couple days prior.
Yeah.
Without crashing the server.
All in a day's work for the MCParks leadership team, or week's work, if you will. Alright, so I think we're going to move it over into questions. If anybody has any questions for the team, feel free to drop it into the chat. Unless anybody on our panel wants to talk about anything specific that they're working on and sort of shout out themselves and other people. Seems like no. So Ansem asks, what effect or effects on Rise of the Resistance are you looking forward for the guests to see?
ITS without a question.
ITS. 100% the ITS.
Mm-hmm.
Something in the briefing room clip that Darren showed off that I can't talk about yet.
The screens are actually like so incredibly detailed. Like they're not like the over the top like mind blowing thing like ITS is, but when you notice it, you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's a great detail.
It really is awesome.
The
It's like
ITS
being able to see it like point to there's like you realize that like every single frame in this and like every single thing in there is like someone put so much time and effort into that. I think that is really, really impressive. And I think when you see that, you're like, oh, this is a really cool.
The ITS feels like you're moving.
Yeah.
It really does.
I like the continuity of Disney fan continuing to think of a question for every panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dedication.
Brian asked, what plugins did you guys use for the trains doing loops and going straight up? Anybody want to talk about that plugin real quick?
It's an open source plugin called Train Carts. It's very, very it's very useful. Essentially, it's older than it is older than MCParks is, not by too much, but it allows us to automatically spawn these vehicles that we get to design and put random stuff in as much as we want. And then we get to design track that isn't bogged down by Minecraft blocks, and it's all virtual. And we can angle it all the ways that we want and speed up the ride vehicles, slow down the ride vehicles, and set different properties for the ride vehicles. It's amazing. It's open source. It's definitely something that is. I should have mentioned that during the application panel. You should definitely download Train Carts also and play around with that if you want to be a technician.
My favorite thing about Train Carts is that it was made for like survival servers to like, I don't know, automate stuff, right? And then
To make actual trains.
Yeah.
to make actual trains, yeah. And then the developer figured out that it was mostly being used on theme park servers, and so like pivoted development to us.
And a lot of us in the theme park community have contributed back to Train Carts also.
Yeah, Ryan, you're one of the top contributors, right?
Am
Or
I?
at least
Maybe.
at a time you were.
At a time, I probably was. Yeah, Train Carts and TC coasters, and definitely have contributed a bit back to that. I was very upset when some other Minecraft theme park servers started pivoting to custom stuff for rides, because I think Train Carts is a really good tool, and I think it's better when most of the community is using it.
Here's a question for the panel. What has been your favorite thing that you've ever made? I'll go a little bit further with this. This can be either an entire attraction or just a single effect, if you want to talk about it. Zach, we'll start with you again.
Been so many different rides and effects. I think, honestly, my favorite little effect that I've done is one that you'll see in Rise. Pretty much. I don't want to give too much of a spoiler away, but I pretty much use what I've done with spinners to create a really cool, neat effect for you guys. So, like middle of the ride.
What an incredibly vague answer. But yes, I know what you're talking about. It'll be potentially a highlight moment for some of the guests to see it. Oh, and how about you? I have a favorite thing that you've worked on. I want to know if it's your favorite thing, though. So go ahead and tell everyone.
I mean, my favorite thing by far is all the stuff of Journey of Water, but the way I was able to track the player's crosshair and change the, I don't want to, give too much away, but the way I was able to alter particles, to better enhance the guest's experience, was something that was really fun, and it was kind of a light bulb that went off in my head when I did that, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. There's a lot I can do with this technology.
I feel like we've talked about Journey of Water in like 2 or 3 panels, and you've never been there to talk about it with
That's
us.
true.
It has come up a lot. In fact, it was the same story twice about the crosshair thing for the musical Bands of Water.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say that my favorite thing that you've worked on is the lights in the breezeway of between Connections and Creation
Oh my
Shop
God,
at
yes.
Epcot.
Oh, yeah, those were fun, too.
Yes.
I forgot
Yes.
about those.
It's such a small
I'm wondering
effect
how
that
many other
runs
people
at
also
night,
forgot about them.
and most people don't see it or pay attention to it. So I don't know. I just think it's such a great little detail that most people wouldn't expect us to have anything like that. So it's nice that we do. I think those are my favorite effects on MCParks.
The other cool part with that is because of Zach, that the logo for World Celebration and the lights at the very front of Epcot are all synced with each other.
Yeah, all of the lights. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but all the lights in Epcot sync with each other. And soon the spaceship Earth lights. Ooh.
Knock on wood on that one.
It's not.
Let's not put that one out there yet. That's
Wait, why
a
not?
long way to go.
I don't really
Try
think
to
it's
sync that up.
I don't really think.
Oh, I mean,
it's
we
a-
need to get the new spaceship Earth in.
Yeah,
That-
no, I,
yeah.
I, I
That's
don't, I don't
the
think it's
long
very
way.
hard at all. Yeah. From a tech perspective, I don't think it's very hard.
Broken, what about you? What's your favorite thing that you made?
Well, the first thing would be the raid thing that you blurred out. The second would be the little Daft Punk karaoke bit that I did. But a natural thing that will actually be permanently on the server, I hope, is the little anomaly animation that will be probably be blocked out by some floating shapes in the pre-show, but it's still like a neat effect because I did it like all by hand for all like 24 frames of it.
Very cool.
Broken's Let It Go performance at karaoke lives rent free in my head.
I do. I think about that every time we do some sort of karaoke event, and I'm like, oh, what's Broken's step up gonna be? And this year he did not disappoint with the Daft Minecraft heads.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Was that
Frankie.
recorded anywhere? I don't think I ever saw it.
No, not officially.
Not officially, only bootlegs.
Frankie, what's your favorite thing that you've worked on?
Tech-wise, not a lot. I've only done one thing so far, which is the drones and developing the pipeline on how we're going to create and use the drones in the parks.
So I'll get a little bit more specific. You've done a little bit of Dreams That Soar, you've done a little bit of
Yes.
Avengers, and you've done Spaceship Earth. Which of those three are stand out for you?
Avengers is the one I got pretty far into, and creating. I think I did 3 scenes. Each scene does take an incredible amount of time to create. I think it took me about a whole day for one scene at one point. That ring, I think it was Doctor Strange portal.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at video references on different angles and compiling that together, getting the timing right for each drones and each drone's color and position. It's a lot of work, which I'm quite proud of. It's not in the server yet, and hopefully it will be someday.
I can't wait for everyone to see it. NASA, what's your favorite effect that you've done?
So it's literally kind of out there. I think Josh might know. Out of everything I've worked on, I think the favorite one is probably magical.
Yeah, it's magical. That's all.
Is there
There's
a specific
scene?
part?
There's a
Yeah.
specific scene in it that we have memed since we originally put it in place.
Is it Dumbo?
You're right. It's 100% that
It's
Dumbo.
the Dumbo.
It's 100% that Dumbo that flies across the sky.
Every time he comes out, NASA and I are like, look, it's our boy. It's our boy Dumbo.
Yeah, the Dumbo that flies across in magical is probably one of the funniest and best effects I think we've done. Close second behind it though is 100% the Main Street Electrical Parade scene for RDCT.
Oh, you didn't even mention Carol of the Bells in
No, that
minis.
I'm still annoyed with that one. Maybe eventually the pain and suffering I went through to get that show still haunts me.
Nice. Sorry for the trauma. King, what was your favorite effect that you've done?
I would say probably in Enchanted Wish, there, the finale scene, or I guess the one just before the finale, the one where the prince kisses Snow White. I'm really happy with how the lights turn on in that scene. I added, it was like a mix between particle pass and sparkles that because in real life the lights turn all on like in order, like away from the, like they expand out from where this main area where they are, and then they start flickering and stuff. I've specifically like added particle pass to do that, and instead of just turning on the sparkles all at once. And then also in that scene, I'm also really happy with how there's a storybook that when you turn like the scene turn a little bit, that actually animates. I hand animated all the frames in that book that it's like just as you're turning away and like the lights are like turning off and like you're just about to go into the next scene, that it shows the dwarfs like dancing around and the prince picking up Snow White, and like it took me so long to like find good enough videos and like take screenshots of all of them, that I'm recreating all of those. And honestly, I feel like it's really cool to like whenever I ride back and then be like knowing how much time I put into that, and I feel like it turned out really nice.
I'm glad you mentioned something from Enchanted Wish, because the scene in the mine is probably one of my favorite dark ride scenes on MCParks. I'm sad that you didn't pick that scene, but the area where the mine gets a lot smaller because of like armor stand blocks, and then you have the door with the particles, like I don't know how to describe it besides like dancing behind the doorway is such a flawless effect in my mind, and remains like one of my favorite effects like in server history.
Well, thank you. I did not know that. It's good to know.
Sky, what about you? What's one of your favorite things that you've worked on, whether it's an attraction or a specific effect?
Apparently,
He was
Sky
driving.
is... Yeah.
All right, well, we'll circle back to Sky. Scoop, you're working on ET Adventure. What's your favorite thing in ET Adventure so far?
Yeah, so if you guys are familiar with ET, there's a lot of colorful lighting around that ride, and stuff like that isn't really possible in vanilla Minecraft, so I've been using workarounds and different methods to bring some of that lighting to life in the game.
And it looks so good. Scoop, if you want, you can take a picture of that and show that in here. If you don't want to, or you want to keep it a surprise, you can. But if you'd like to show everyone a little demo, feel free to. And then Josh, what was your favorite thing that you've worked on so far?
I have a few. I was gonna say something, and then I was reminded of April Fool's Day, and that was pretty funny. But like, if we're going solely on stuff that I worked on almost alone, the buses in Skyliner. because that's insane. And like just getting them to go to the right places, because like usually like a ride, it just has a track and it goes around the track. And we sort of did it with Radiator Springs Racers, and it kind of worked where you'd split it into two, but having it need to pathfind its way, well, it's not pathfinding, but like having it need to find its way from one place to another on like tracks that split off like 10, 15 different times was a big challenge. But and I did the Imagineering work with the trees along the road and the tech work for the buses. So that's my thing.
And then Ryan, I don't think you've done a lot of tech effects specifically, right? Or
Not-
at least anything.
Not recently. I will say one of the toughest things that I've been involved with is the opening of Disney California Adventure. We opened that park with Radiator Springs Racers, Incredicoaster, Mike and Sully to the Rescue, Meteor's Junkyard Jamboree, Guardians, and Grizzly. Yeah.
And
This was back
Goofy's.
and Goofy Sky School. Yep. This was back in 2018, and this is when we opened entire parks at once. We had a lot of technicians that summer leave the server for various reasons, and it ended up being basically just me and Vec in the 5 days before we opened, making racers not just completely break every time it ran. I'm very proud of it because, barring a few issues with when only one car makes it to the race starting line, that ride's going on 6 years old now. Actually, it's probably its 6-year anniversary, like today, or like this week.
Yeah.
And like it hasn't had that many issues, so I'm pretty proud of the work that I did there. But yeah, it was probably me and Vec just scrambling to finish the tech for all of those rides, which also all exist in their initial forms, except for Guardians now.
Yeah. Park's like the little park that could. Ryan,
Really?
while I'm chatting with you, I have another question for you. So you were the originator of the tech department.
Yep.
When you brought that idea forward, did you think that, one, it would be as large and as productive as it is, and two, did you imagine that the work that team was doing would ever hit the caliber that they're at now?
I think it was always my hope that it would become a really big team, because I think when I was making it, I really truly thought that, all right, the way to bring all of these things forwards, like this is the big tech, this is the big like innovation spot, like, oh, the builds are pretty good, but like, we gotta start doing way more crazy effects. We gotta start really getting deep into making all of these show effects what you're expecting from the stuff, because at the time we really were just plopping down train carts, having a minecart go through the scenes, statically built sets, and that was it. So it was always my hope that we would grow to be a big and effective team that's really like the powerhouse of the server. As for the caliber of work, I could not have fathomed a lot of what we do now. Train carts coasters, the technology that allows us to have like the trackless rides, and it's just virtual track, like that's absolutely insane still to this day. A lot of the stuff that we've done in-house, a lot of the custom commands that we've built for doing all kinds of stuff like blockimations would have blown my mind. So absolutely couldn't have foreseen us being as advanced as we are. I would love to have asked Ryan when he started the technician department back in 2015, right? 2016, 2015?
2014.
Was it that early? I don't think it was that early. It wasn't that early. It was after I was owner.
Okay.
When did college program start? Because I think it was the same week that we rebranded Tour Guide to College Program and started.
That may have been when I came back. That may have been 2015.
Yeah, I think it might have been like at the same time. And it was like, okay, Darren's back. Here's the big bang. We're starting this new team. But yeah, I would have loved to ask me back then, like, what do you think? What do you think this team will be doing in 9 years? I mean, after what do you mean it's going to exist in 9 years? I wonder what I would say. But yeah,
Go back and say, what do you think the team is going to look like after 9 years? And you'll be like, there's still a team in 9 years?
that in and of itself, I think
something pandemic. What?
Global pandemic?
The world's gonna shut
TikTok?
down.
What the hell's TikTok?
Becca asked, this can be one for just the team to shout out things that you guys use. Other than train cards, ShowScript, and Blender, what are some of the essential tools, plugins, and programs that you guys use on a pretty consistent basis?
No one say Chat GPT.
There's a custom plugin that I use a lot for the show syncing, to sync up videos with in-game.
Oh yeah, the show
show
sync
utility.
plugin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the website.
That's
MCParks.us/show sync. Man, I can't.
People
talk
still use that?
They use that?
Yeah.
What are they supposed to
Okay,
use?
I don't know.
We don't have anything else.
Are we supposed
Cool.
to count by hand or
I'm
what?
glad you guys still find use of
I
that.
use that like every single
That's
show. that we
every
make.
show.
Neat.
I mean, ShowScript 3 allows us to do seconds now, so like I guess we don't need to as heavily, but that was how we did everything.
That's still how you time like animations, I'm sure, and everything.
Like no, we use that constantly.
Cool, yeah. MCParks.us/showsync. It's a little thing where you plop in a YouTube video, and then you can set a bunch of markers in the YouTube video, and then you can get the difference in time between two markers in ticks. So it's great for understanding how many ticks have elapsed, for setting timeouts on commands and stuff like that. As far as what commands, a lot of them are in-house custom commands in one of our custom code bases. We have one big plugin. It's called MCP Attractions that handles a lot of the internal commands. So everything from our armor stand animation tool to blockamations, little animating falling sand blocks that you see, the lasers, the spotlights, the particle paths. A lot of that is custom. Apart from the custom stuff, though, anything anybody wants to shout out as far as like in-game commands?
Remember when I used to use that Adobe program?
Yeah, we used to use Adobe Prelude instead of the ShowSync utility.
That's still on the application too.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the idea is because the point of the things in the application was, can we think of tools that are similar to the stuff that we use that people might have used? That was the intent of putting that on the application.
I think if we're talking about tools that we use, though, a lot of us have created our own tools. Like King's created the thing that I talked about, where you can make a sparkle out of a black and white image. Broken has made stuff to animate image maps. Owen's made multiple stuffs for multiple things. I've made like a firework generator for my large fireworks that we do in all the shows. Like a lot of us have made our own stuff, and a lot of it's been through ChatGPT.
That's actually how I did all the like fire and fireworks stuff up here, was just using those tools I made. So it took me like 10 minutes, which was pretty fun.
I would say I use a showbox to straighten it and get a better angle of images, but that's more of a pixel art thing than a tech thing.
Yes, even Cam saying he used ShowSync all the time for rides.
Cool. I'm glad it was still useful. I made that so long ago that I kind of forgot about it.
Cam has also asked a question to the group. If you could redo one tech effect / ride on the server, what would it be?
Quick, someone tell me something really good that Cam has done.
We already made the Volcano Bay joke.
Oh. Tear it down.
Kali River Rapids, easily. Not a question.
The blockimation effect for the bouncing towers on Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Town.
Well, we did that for performance.
Yeah, I know, but it needs to get worked on.
Happily Ever After spotlights and lasers.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
valid.
for years my answer would have been Mufasa in Happily Ever After, and I'm so glad it's redone.
You're welcome. Actually, King
Thanks.
says you're welcome too, because he made that tool for me.
It was crazy how fast when we first got that plugin, how quickly it turned into when can Mufasa be done.
That's like the one thing everyone thought about as soon as that happened. We're like, oh, we can finally make Mufasa not look
Was
like
it though?
garbage.
Because you went and made the Mickey sign.
That happened the day
I
of.
did that to
too.
test, yeah. Yeah, it was like the
King
within
he made,
24 hours of the tool being available, I made that. Yes.
No, yeah, he made the tool in like the afternoon, and it was done by that night. Like it was crazy.
Mine would be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say mine would be Tower of Terror up the FPS to 4 FPS, and
Nope.
then remove some of the cast members in the
Nope.
render.
You are forbidden from upping any FPSs on any videos on the server. We are so image map constrained right now with image map animations. I'm very close to being like, nothing higher than 3 at any time.
Two instead. Two divides up to 20 evenly. 3 doesn't.
That's true. So then 2. There you go. You lost yourself a frame, Broken.
That's what you get for
He
speaking
just talked
up.
himself down a frame. Yeah.
The derpy Mufasa I made.
1 frame a second.
Actually, I made the derpy Mufasa to be so everybody knows. I feel like I should take credit for
Could
that.
you do that with particle paths?
Ryan's
Yeah,
quality of work.
It was particle paths. I think it was one of the first particle paths.
It was one of the last things done. We went back and forth on it forever. Because we weren't sure if we wanted to do it out of particles. We tested doing it out of armor stands. We
Blockimation.
tested it doing with blocks. There are pictures floating around somewhere in internal Discord channels of some of those other tests. And it's very unfortunate that the Shrek that we got was the best looking of the bunch.
I know the block one still exists back in my castle farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it's
we
still
did
back
some of
there.
that.
I can
anybody
see-
else? Anything
I can
you-
see. What I did was actually a little bit worse, and I can see in. I'm looking through the Discord channel, and I'm seeing that Josh DLP plussed it from what I did, and that was what was in the show for a few years.
Do you have a picture of that?
I don't see a picture, no.
Okay.
I'm looking, but I don't think so.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Anything that you would update or plus?
I definitely have my eyes set on Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Alien Swirling Saucers.
Oh, please.
I really want to
Please,
Do it.
Do it or else.
you have the plugin. You updated with your Chat GPT craziness that you did for Happy.
This is more of an Imagineering thing from Happily Ever After.
Oh, wait, sorry. None of that was ChatGPT. That was all
Not
train
Chat-
cards
yeah.
and me.
Train car. I don't know why. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
You're tired.
I've been up since 2.
So this isn't really a tech thing from Happily Ever After, but this is the early draft of Ursula.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Look at that.
This
The
is
armor
pre.
stand head.
This is pre-blockimation.
The
I
armor
don't-
stand head's the best part.
I don't see
Yeah.
anything wrong with it.
Oh, I have 2017 screenshots. Ooh, let me look at these. 2018
Oh,
screenshots.
Thoughts on having like a retro version of the show where it's just all the old bad.
Oh boy.
We could. All the builds still exist. I could absolutely throw it together.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna
Yeah, no, we're good.
Remember the computer monitors I made?
for the video.
Yeah, from the videos.
For a side note, for those that are listening into this, King has demonstrated how quickly some things can be thrown together on the stage. He's currently flying around on a broom.
Yeah.
And he did it in like a couple minutes.
I was hoping
Where are we
nobody
at?
would notice.
Oh, we
Oh.
noticed.
What's going on?
It took Darren a couple
Oh,
minutes
no.
to notice you, but
I immediately noticed and just followed you the entire time until I joined.
Ryan, King made a little train
See
cart
that.
broom.
That's the reason why I stole your seat, King.
Are there any other questions?
I saw one before that was shoot, what was it? It was about what was the biggest challenge that you faced? And thing that you overcame with anything that you worked on.
My answer is still DCA opening.
I think
What's
Vex
this?
would have been Hagrid.
Yeah, we don't have to go in order if you guys just want to shout it out.
Probably minis. Minis or RDCT?
Yeah.
For me, I think it would be the Baymax and the trying to get all that thing working. It took a lot of like, I had the idea like several months before I actually worked on it. It was like just like a brief like flicker of an idea, and it took me like a long time for me to actually figure out like how it would actually work, and then a lot of trial and error of trying to get it to work. But the end result actually did turn out quite nice.
King, I remember I was talking with you right before you figured out what the issue was with why Happy Ride wasn't working. And
yeah,
it was very cool to be there for the aha moment where you went, oh my gosh, the 3 circles aren't the same size, or the 5 circles or whatever. And the math wasn't lining up because we had assumed that all of the turntables were the exact same size, but the 3 in the middle were smaller.
Yeah, because there are 4
or
of
something
them,
like
and
that.
the 2 outer ones are smaller, and they hold less less vehicles on them, and it was screwing up the math. Like they weren't lining up. I was like, why isn't this working? And I'm like, no, the only way it would work is if the outer ones were smaller, so they could spin faster and get them around and fast enough to do it. And then of course the math all worked out, and I could do it. That was a fun aha.
Yeah. It was cool to be there for that moment.
I don't think we're given enough credit to like the lighting effect in the ceiling during Happy Ride. That's insane too.
That was quite fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Any challenges or hardships you had working on anything projects?
I kept crashing Walt Disney World trying to do TCC for the buses. That was fun. Ryan loved that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did, Josh. You really did that.
Let's not forget, while working on it, you broke Tower Terror.
Oh yeah, I also did that.
I crashed DL with my first show script 3 script.
Owen crashed Walt
everyone
Disney
did that.
World with his first show script.
Yeah, that was my first ever script. Crashed it, I think 6 or 7 times.
I think the only
You didn't
person-
crash it. You
Yeah, well, my
stopped
guy,
it.
I stopped it.
My guy just like pasted some code he found on the internet and just ran it.
I think
What are you gonna do?
The only person up here that hasn't had to ping Ryan about relaunching the server is Scoop, because Scoop hasn't been here long enough to crash a server.
Flawless.
If you haven't
tech.
crashed a server yet, can you really call yourself a tech?
Yeah, I was gonna
Fair.
say, why do we
Actually-
promote them if they haven't crashed the server yet?
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
They haven't
Please
done
don't.
anything to crash the server.
Scoop,
I was
please
saying
don't.
during the Universal panel that I can't wait until more starts crashing Universal like daily
Oh,
instead
God.
of Disneyland.
I feel like the ones that might crash it next is if we decided to go and start looking into doing Cinesational. Because I don't know how that server's going to handle doing a show that size.
Yeah, probably. Becca asked the room not to be that person who asked a very specific attraction question, but out of curiosity, do you think Phantasmic could be accomplished in a way that feels faithful to IRL with the current tech solutions, or would it require a lot of innovation?
I think we could make it feel faithful to IRL. It requires some tech innovations, but not like an insane amount.
And some of it isn't even like needing innovation, it's just deciding on what we want the style to be, right? Like I think the biggest thing we're tripped up right now on is the water screens, and some of that is just figuring out how we want them to look, right? And then like the tech stuff follows after that.
Yeah, like if you look at the past expos, I'm sorry for interrupting, but if you look
You're
at the past expos, you could see that we've actually teased some of the animation for Phantasmic, and what's there now, though it's not finished yet. It's really good, so that's not a bottleneck there.
I think the only bottleneck with Phantasmic I would see, other than deciding on screens, would be deciding how we want to do the fountains and whether or not we make that into a plugin addition or show script 3 it all out.
I mean, if you're talking DL, that Peter Pan scene isn't going to be easy either.
Yeah, but we have animation down. Like we know how to do that.
How do you animate the boat?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking.
In my mind, it's either a series of models or large blockimations. So I don't know. It feels more doable than not. But I think a lot of it is just the time investment, right? That's a huge project with a lot of very meticulous animation, and we don't have the team bandwidth to support something like that right now. We got ET Adventure to make. we're all tapped out right now.
We need a phone home.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions?
I see a question about different bus lines. The bus lines we have are accurate to the real parks. Disney doesn't run buses from TTC to the parks unless, like, the monorail or something is down. They're like backup buses. But in regular operation, we have all of the lines that are currently offered in real life for the resorts and parks that we have.
Brian asks, or mostly just says, I have a goal. When I become a technician, I want to make Muppet Vision 3D in the server. So what are some programs I should learn to reach that goal? I think with Muppet Vision, the goal is to make it in Minimator or some other animation program, and then do the projection like we do for like One Man Stream. But we want to recreate the film like in the Minecrafty style. I don't know if we've like solidified that idea, but we've certainly talked about doing it that way a bunch.
Hey, if you want to get good at Minimator, I'm sure Broken would appreciate not being the only person.
But yeah, another tool that we've used, which we might use for Muppet Vision, depending on what we do for that show, is Blockbench. And what Blockbench does is that it has like a armor stand stuff that you can animate, and we have an internal tool that lets us convert all of the armor stand animations into a show file to do armor stand stuff.
Very nice. Alrighty. Any other questions?
Who broke HEA?
Oh, it
No,
started
there's
late
a
every
lot
day
of-
this week.
There's a lot of.
Don't worry about it.
there's a
It'll
lot of stuff
start.
happening in the expo hall that I'm trying to handle on.
Yeah, I wonder who did that.
Wonder who else caused all the other problems this week.
Alrighty, guys. It seems like we're winding down, so thank you for joining us, and thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for chatting with us. If you've been around with us all weekend, thank you for hanging out with us for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We hope you guys enjoyed the MCParks Expo, all the cool things that we announced, all of the great panels that we had, all of our wonderful guest speakers. Thank you guys for being so supportive of the silly little Minecraft project that we all operate here. We appreciate you guys. Ryan, anything you want to tack on?
No, I mean, you said basically all of it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you all for playing with us. Thank you all for all the cast members for all the hard work that you put into getting everything ready to go, coming to all these panels, showing off everything. Yeah, this has been a blast. Really enjoyed this whole time. Somehow these things keep getting more and more fun every time. And I'm really excited for the future and all the amazing things that we're working on. Thank you, everybody.
I'm excited to not have any secret projects.
Yeah, for another
For a little while, yeah.
For a little bit.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Goodbye.